Okay, I'm thinking that this would be, see where the steps are? That might have been where we parked.
We being?
Ralph T. Ellis and Dorothea. Dorothea says that her night with Principal T. Ralph Ellis on Art Hill was magical. It was so magical to me. And I would say that I can imagine this being quite magical. Particularly with a charming young man such as Ralph T. Ellis. T. Ralph Ellis is his name. The warmth of his breath that's always scented with clove, and his fingers touching ever so gently. The line that I had always drawn with men was no longer drawn that evening on Art Hill. I was unaware of this, but St. Louis from the 1890s on became known as the soul of the shoe industry. And of course, Tennessee Williams's family moved here because his father, Cornelius, got a job at the International Shoe Factory as a manager, and Tennessee, in a couple of years from that move to St. Louis, also had to get a job there because he went to University of Missouri at Columbia, dropped out, and then his father made him get a job at his place of employment. Some of the worst times of Tennessee's life. However, he did write, and The Glass Menagerie is based on some of that. And our character Bodie in our play A Lovely Sunday for Creve Coeur, she works at the International Shoe Factory also for 20 years. So here we are. St. Louis was the shoe capital of the world. Art Hill, The Pageant of the Mask, in May 1914, held at the base of Art Hill. This play traces the history of St. Louis from its founding all the way through Civil War.
And it looks like there was some kind of lake there, even if it maybe wasn't the current incarnation of it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And the museum was definitely still around, right? Because there's pictures of it. More than 400,000 people attended those 4 nights. That's incredible. This building is now the City Museum, but it once was the International Shoe Factory, where Tennessee Williams' father Cornelius worked, and where Tennessee worked in his early 20s once he had dropped out of the University of Missouri. And then he went to Washington University here in St. Louis, but just took a couple of courses. And his father did not encourage him to go to college and instead told him to get a job. A dramaturg, Amy Stoller, tells me that there were several branches of the International Shoe Factory in St. Louis, and she's not sure that this one was the one that Tennessee worked at, but it may have been. This is the gateway. Miss Gluck is a German immigrant, and her mother has just passed away. She lives above Bodie and Dorothea in the apartment building on Westminster Place. And she is just distraught with grief and keeps referring to the asylum, the nut house in German, because that is where she was and she does not want to go back. And I do think that it's kind of a specter that that haunts Dorothea too, because Dorothea has her own anxiety issues. Bodhi and Helena seem to be, they seem to be very strong and not openly wounded as Miss Gluck and Dorothea. So anyhow, it used to be the St. Louis Asylum back in the time of the play, and it's now a rehab center, but it is the building. And it is a rather prepossessing structure.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
This is a.
Oh, we're not supposed to be doing this.
No, this is a private facility.
Okay, we're sorry.
May I ask you what you're doing with the camera?
We were filming a documentary about Tennessee Williams and the settings of his plays, and he talks about this building in it.
We're doing a documentary for.
Do y'all have permission to be on grounds doing this?
No, we just walked through the gate there. It's open. There's no gate.
You can't do that. This is like state property. You have to have permission. You come on cameras because
Okay.
there are clients there. They're not to be filmed or
Okay.
any photography going on
I
while
see.
they're on grounds.
Gotcha.
You have to have permission.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
I have to ask you guys to leave.
We're
Well,
gonna
we
leave.
definitely are.
I don't think we should go in there.
You think I'm gonna get locked in?
Yes.
Seriously? Well, there's somebody let me out. Their car's there.
Well, I mean,
Look, it keeps opening. Okay, great. And then you can let us out? Yes. It's a button that looks forward. Okay, there's a green button on the sign. He said that
I'll
we
let
could-
you in.
Thank you.
Oh.
I didn't think a school could lock people out, but
so it's a residence now.
it's an apartment complex.
You guys want to come in?
What?
You guys want to go in and look at the food?
Can we go in just a little bit and take some of the Thank you so much.
Yeah, but yeah, they have like a chalkboard like in every apartment to like mimic, I guess, the school vibe.
That's funny.
That's funny. That's so funny. Oh, thank you.
Do you guys mind if we get you on camera?
No, we don't. We don't.
Okay, and if you give me his email, we can
Okay.
forward you the website that will have the
Okay.
document. That field over there, is that part of your?
No, this
No.
is another high school next across
That goes with the school.
That's
That
Soldan. Yeah, and that's their football field.
I wonder if it used to be Blewitts football field.
And I guess this field used to be their football field.
The one that's right there, yeah. What are the other signs that it used to be a high school?
The hallway.
The hallways, the double doors.
Oh,
They have the double doors and I guess the classrooms.
They got different colors like red, blue, yellow. At first grade.
primary colors.
This one's green.
It's a private,
Okay, you guys can come on in.
Are you sure? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. You guys are awesome.
Oh, it is nice.
Wow,
Oh my
look at your
God.
furniture. Beautiful.
It's kind of dirty, but
Look at this.
But it looks like a classroom, doesn't it?
Can I see the chalkboard? This is gorgeous.
but it's kind of dirty right now, guys.
It's not dirty, my love. This is beautiful.
Yeah, it reminds me of the chalkboard in the classroom. Like, it's the way the classroom is, and you know, you sit in front of the board. And we might look young, but we are a married couple.
You do look very young.
How long have you been married?
This is going on our second year.
Oh, nice.
You're newlyweds. Sweet. Were you high school sweethearts?
Yeah, I took her to prom, yeah.
Thank you guys so much. You're going to hear from me. You have no idea what this did for me.
Okay.
You just made the trip.
Okay.
Really did.
You guys
Thanks a lot.
have a nice
Thanks a lot.
to meet you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you.
Yeah, you're going to hear
You guys have
from me.
a room. Oh, since y'all got that.
Oh, cool.
This was so awesome. This really did make the trip for me, I'm serious. This is it, okay.
You've got balls of steel.
What?
I said you've got balls of steel.
You really think so?
Yeah.
How come we can't get, oh, thank you. So stupid. You mean asking them?
Just, just to go up to anybody like, hey, can we go inside your apartment?
She offered, because I didn't have a pen to take down information.
I know, but, I mean, even so, you're just getting in the gate, I mean. And just like sort of sweet talking them into a tour. It's awesome.
When it comes to a mission, I am unshy. When it comes to personal stuff, I'm extremely shy. But when I've got a mission, I'll do it, baby. I think Dorothea liked teaching at Blewett. Oh my God, I have to say, Amy Stoller is amazing. We would have ended up at Blewett Middle School. That would have not been right. You said that to me before when we did the traveling lady stuff, and see, what was it when I started chatting up Jim Lovelace or something.
The guy from the feed store?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were getting ready to close.
Yeah,
and we talked them into sticking around for another half hour.
Right. We're leaving. Well, now I know why I wanted to move here.
Get out of here.
I guess you really don't want to get out with your camera, right?
No, he's right behind us.
Oh, okay.
He's following us now.
Okay. Then we need to go. Okay. Helena wants me to move to an upscale apartment and neighborhood, and to get me out of the neighborhood that I'm living with Bodie, which is where we're staying. It's much more expensive, so I have to dip into my savings. At the end, I reject it. But the reason I want to do it is I want to entertain my principal friend in an upscale. So it could be, take a picture of this too. So this is August 2nd, and we are on our way to our respective homes. But we stayed 2 nights in Tennessee's home from, I believe, 1918 to 1924, from what I've been reading. And I think this neighborhood is charming, but it's not charming the way the neighborhood that was in Memphis. This is definitely a more Midwestern feel. Memphis was definitely the South. So I see why Tennessee had such an adjustment coming to St. Louis. And this actual apartment, this is 2W. Tennessee's family lived in 3W right above us, but a college professor now rents it. So that's why we weren't able to stay there. And she did, the woman who owns this building, she did renovate the apartments, but she didn't change the actual structure of the rooms. And definitely when you read about this, what Tennessee had to say about these apartments, he felt cramped, he felt closed in, and I do get that. Memphis had a much different feel to it. And we couldn't go into his grandparents' home, which was a modest home, but it's more rural in Memphis. It's not as industrial, and it's more southern. So when I first came here on, I guess it was Tuesday night, July 31st, I thought, oh, Tennessee, I understand what you were thinking and feeling. But after spending the day yesterday in St. Louis and seeing various neighborhoods and portions of St. Louis, I have become a little bit more fond of St. Louis. How about you, Stephen? What do you think of St. Louis?
Yeah, I enjoyed the parks that we went to quite a lot. They were really cool.
They were, particularly Art Hill and the Muni which is where my character falls in love with T. Ralph Ellis, I believe. And I see that. I mean, there's something that's quite lovely and grand. But I also see the industrial part that Tennessee found St. Louis cold and industrial. And I do see what he's talking about, but there's also a part of it that's it's a tad provincial and academic. There are a lot of universities here, a lot of distinguished universities. So, but it was wonderful staying here in his apartment building for 2 nights. And my uncle asked me again if I felt or saw any ghosts. I don't think so, but there's definitely a respect for Tennessee in the city. You see statues, people know who he is. So that was great. So we're back to New York. This has been a remarkable trip. I have seen and learned so much about 2 different cultures, and I think it's going to help my interpretation of Dorothea immensely. So goodbye. Love you.